Alrighty guys, it's TechMaster2133 here again today, and well, all of this crap that is on my desk now has to move, because we're going to be doing a video on the GX150 down there. It is going to become the vintage gaming PC project for the day. So, let me get all this stuff moved, and I will get back to you. Alrighty guys, so we got everything moved off the desk except for the monitor and the laptop and the cords that this thing will need. And I figured I'd go ahead and open this thing up and show you guys the inside, because I haven't had a look inside this thing in a while. And it's always nice to gaze back at early 2000s hardware. In here we have a DVD-ROM, CD-ROM rewriter combo. It also burns DVDs. It's the only DVD burner I had that was IDE. We have a 120 gig either Western Digital or Seagate drive. I don't remember what brand it is, but it's been in there for quite a while and gone through multiple operating systems, and so far hasn't given me any issues. And Seagate drives I've had a lot of issues with, so I don't know if it's Seagate drive or not. It's a bit noisy, but nowhere close to failing. Down here we have maxed out the two RAM slots with two 256 meg SD RAM cards. They are PC 133. Very slow, but they get the job done, and that's the max this motherboard can take, is half a gig of PC 133 RAM. So not really a powerhouse, but back in early 2001, those were decent specs. Things I've added in are the Realtek 54 megabyte a second wireless LAN card and an NVIDIA 6200A 512 meg DDR2 graphics card. A little bit overpowered for this machine. I do have a NVIDIA Mad Dog 64 meg card that I could put in here, but I like being a bit overpowered in the graphics department instead of underpowered. Under here we have the 1.13 gigahertz I think Coppermine Pentium 3. It gets the job done. I don't know, it seems a bit slower than other Pentium 3s. Like, I've heard people installing Windows 7 and things on these things, and I tried it with this one. It's actually on that hard drive right now, but it is excruciatingly slow, mostly because of the 512 megs of RAM. It really does not like that, and it's not Windows Vista Starter or Windows 7 Starter or Windows 7 Home Basic. It's Windows 7 Home Premium, which is way too heavy for this machine, but I only threw it on there as a test. And it does boot up and run, but nothing I'd use day to day. For the power supply, we have a compact 250 watt made by Delta Electronics. So far it does perfectly fine. I pulled this one out of a part system just because I liked how long the cables were. I do still have the original 200 or 250 watt Dell power supply in my closet, but it was getting a little weak. It had also been swapped into many computers, and a lot of them being 3 gigahertz Pentium 4s, which were quite power hungry, and the power supply was already about 12 years old, so it doesn't hold the 12 volt rail real well. It dips. So I opened up the power supply. Everything looks perfectly fine. It looks brand new, but I don't like the dips in voltage, so this one does a much better job. But anyway, let's close this thing up, get it hooked up, and get on with the vintage gaming PC build, or setup at least. Alrighty guys, so we got the Windows 2000 disk in, and all we have to do is power it up and boot from it. I had to do that off camera because this is Nativa LightScribe DVD-ROM burner, but it tends to stick a lot when you close it, unless there's a disc in it. When there's a disc in it, it won't stick at all. But if you take the disc out, you close the tray, it sticks. I've tried cleaning it and everything, it still sticks. So I just did it off camera, but let's boot it up and let it boot from disk. Now hopefully Windows 2000 will recognize the big hard drive. You'll notice it looks a lot like Windows XP in the first setup screen here. It's going to be funny having Windows 2000 at 1080p. Quiet disk drive. The whole machine in general is fairly quiet. Let it load up these files. It's probably going to take a little while. This has up to Service Pack 4 and 98% or so of the updates already installed, so I won't have to do much after I install it besides get drivers. But I'll be back with you guys when the setup is starting. Okay, so it sees the 120 gig drive. The part that's going to suck about this is Windows 2000 was before quick format, so this is going to take quite a long time. So I will be back with you guys when this is done, which should be in about 30-45 minutes, I think. Okay, so it's been a little over an hour and we are totally almost done formatting this 120 gig drive. This is taking forever. I think the reason for it is it's a 5400 RPM 120 gig drive, so it's not fast, but it's getting there. So get back to you guys when we're on the Windows 2000 setup screen, I guess. Alrighty guys, we are making progress. It just finished the format and copying files. So let's see what it does now. Come on. Quit trying to boot from the disk, you don't need to. I'm also recovering the HP down here back to factory. Yeah, look at that, Windows 2000 Professional. Doing something here. It's not the fastest machine in the world. Definitely not with that hard drive. Alright, setup wizard. Now it's going to detect all the devices. Well, as many as it can, being Windows 2000. This computer actually shipped with Windows 2000 on it. From the factory. It did have a meant for Windows 2000 and Windows NT sticker on it. This one was just before the Windows XP era. So it does run Windows XP just fine, but I like to be original. Besides, if you're gonna have a vintage gaming PC, you have to have an older OS than XP, and Windows 98 would work, but I like Windows 2000 better. I could still get some supported software for it, and it supported antivirus. Avast still supports Windows 2000, and it's one of the only antivirus programs that I found that still support Windows 2000. And no matter how old the OS is, you have to have antivirus if you're going to be on the web at any time at all. And this will be doing a little bit of web surfing, that sort of thing. It's got a built-in, well, not built-in, but add-in Wi-Fi card. Let's see how the HP's doing. It's coming along nicely. It's probably going to ask me to insert disk 3 here in a minute. You know, for such an old laptop, being about 8 or 9 years old now, it still plays 1080p Blu-ray videos, which is quite impressive because that wasn't really out back then. It's got the 7150 Go graphics card in it, or graphics chipset, and they're known for being extremely bandwidth bottlenecked and weak, but it plays League of Legends on low settings at about 24 to 30 FPS, and it can play 1080p Blu-ray video, so I'm still kind of impressed with it. It is recovering back to Windows Vista, the 32-bit version of Windows Vista, with its recovery disks. Alright, I'm going to pause the video until this thing moves along because it seems to be taking its sweet time. Alrighty, so we made some progress. Now we just have to change or go through this, type in the name. There's Ben. Alrighty, don't need an organization. Product key, yes. I do have one, a legitimate one. I wonder if it'll let me. No, it won't. So give me a second because the product key is currently on my external and I'm currently recovering the laptop. So 1 minute. Alrighty guys, so we got past the product key screen. I had my product key over there on the trusty old Dell C610. Had to fire that thing up for like the first time in a month. It was not very happy, but that works. So get back to the setup. Not gonna have a password. Good. Okay, 641. Chances are good this is not going to auto-detect the Wi-Fi card, but I have the drivers on the external hard drive over there, so if it doesn't, we'll be alright. How's the HP doing on its recovery? We're getting there. Don't you just love it when you got so many things going on at once? Recovering this computer, doing this Dell, and tinkering with that C610 over there. I need to get a new DVD-ROM drive for that C610 because I was an idiot and broke it when I was pulling it out. I ended up tearing the cable when I had to separate the drive bay from the actual drive. I tore the cable that went to the tray itself. So now that no longer works, which is nice. I mean, they're cheap. They're like 18 bucks on eBay, including shipping. So I might just go get one off there. Yes. Okay. But it also needs a new battery. The battery in that thing is crap. I use that as well. for old games and emergency web browsing whenever I don't feel like getting up and doing things while I'm laying in the bed. Works pretty well. Can't complain. It's old as hell. And it's also my second Pentium 3 powered machine. That one's the 1.2 gigahertz Pentium 3M. This one's only, or this Dell is only the 1.1, and so it's a bit faster. They both only have 512 megs of RAM though. Alright, we're getting there. Now, for being 8 years old, this thing's hard drive is completely quiet, which I love it so much. I was actually debating on selling it, but I don't know. It's great for watching movies. It has the best speakers ever. The screen is nice and bright and clear. It's nice. It was a nice machine for its time. Still is nice. When Windows 10 comes out, that'll be going on this HP. I've yet to test out the beta though. I'm just gonna wait for full release. Alrighty. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Come on, 5400 RPM drive. You can do it. Still a fairly quiet machine. Most of the noise is coming from the power supply. It's got a, I put a faster fan in there to keep everything cool. And the thing really moves some air. Getting there. I'm going to pause the video one more time and meet you when we're on the desktop. Alrighty guys, so we are in fact done with an operating system install, but it is no longer Windows 2000. It is now Windows XP. I had some pretty major complications getting my Wi-Fi card to work properly with Windows 2000. And I decided that after screwing around with a Wi-Fi card that took me about an hour to get it to work properly, by the time I got it to work, I didn't really feel like screwing around and getting all the old versions of software that I wanted that would work with Windows 2000. So I said, screw it, I'm going a bit more updated, something I can get the most current version of, and it'll work, and my Wi-Fi card will work with no issues, and I could still play all of my games. So it now has Windows XP on it. Funny enough, I was just sitting here with the other Dell with the they both have Pentium 3s. This is a Pentium 3 1.1. This is a Pentium 3 1.2M. So might have a bit of a boot up race between the two. I don't know yet. But alrighty, so let's get to it. Everybody's been waiting to see, and that is the boot up. I have it turned sideways so I can get access to all the ports back there. I also upgraded the hard drive. I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous cut. I upgraded it from a 120 gig Western Digital drive to a 160 gig 7200 RPM Seagate Barracuda drive. So it's a bit more snappy than it used to be. I kept the original Windows 2000 install on the other drive though, so it is still there if I ever swapped out the drives. Windows is starting up. This part still takes a second. Alrighty, and log on. That's interesting. Didn't hear any sound. Unless I haven't muted. But hope you like the desktop background there. Yeah, sound was turned down. Anyway, so we are on the desktop of Windows XP on the GX150, and here's a list of games that I have installed and that run. We have a PlayStation 1 emulator, Doom 3, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Starpoint Gemini, that barely runs, Half-Life 2, System Shock 2, The Elder Scrolls Morrowind Game of the Year Edition, Sidemir's Alpha Centauri. I don't really like that game, but I installed it anyway. StarCraft 1, Fable The Lost Chapters, another Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game, I think it's the first one. Call of Duty Rally 2005, a newer PlayStation 1 emulator, Project 64, the N64 emulator, with a couple of games, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Oslogic's Disk Defrag. So, which one should we test first? Let's go ahead and fire up Doom 3, because this computer is way below the minimum requirements for that game. I think it's a 1.5 or 1.6 gigahertz CPU. What was it? 1.6 gigahertz CPU. I think 512 megs of RAM is minimum, but I don't remember. It does have the 512 meg graphics card helping it out a lot. See how this runs. I am really glad that I swapped out that 5400 RPM drive, otherwise loading screens would be even longer. I still have about 119 gigs free, so plenty of space still to install whatever. I also have the Asus down here, just being chill. Pentium 3 power. It's technically not supposed to be able to run this game. Almost there. Loading screen didn't seem this long when I just launched it before the video.
The Union Aerospace Corporation is the largest corporate entity in existence.
Let's go ahead and skip
focused
this.
on weapon and
incoming transport detected. Mars approach, Dark Star with
So far, so good.
063, passing through 38,000.
Roger, Dark Star. Descend to 2000, set speed, contact ground on 26972.
Roger that, tower.
We have them on radar, sir. They'll be landing in a few moments.
Excellent. See that Counselor Swan is sent directly to me.
Yes,
Doom 3 running on a Pentium 3 1
Tower,
GHz.
Dark Star on final.
Read that, Dark Star. You are set for lockdown. Welcome back.
I give props to a Pentium 3 because it is about a little over half a gigahertz under the minimum requirement.
I can't believe it's come to this. I didn't want to come here. He left you no choice. True. But this is the last time. I'm tired of running damage control every time he makes a mess. Right. You're...
Skip this. But yeah, as you can see, runs fairly decent. It only lags a bit because we're next to that. So that's relatively insane that a Pentium 3 can do that. Let's see here. Exit this. What else should we launch? What haven't I tried yet? Let's go ahead and launch the Elder Scrolls. Apparently Windows has updates to download. This is the Game of the Year edition. Loading screens in this game aren't too bad. You gotta love that intro. Alright, we'll do a, let's see here. What's the video on? 1024 by 768, medium view distance, and real-time shadows are off. So far, it's running just fine.
Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name?
As you can see, runs perfectly fine.
I heard them say we reached your moment. I'm sure the let's go. Why? Here comes the gun. This is where you get off. Come with me. Better do what they say.
Yeah, it's running perfectly fine, no issues. Doing this one-handed, so give me a break.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
But yeah, outdoors and is running just fine, no issues. on a 1 GHz Pentium 3. That is the vintage Pentium 3 Dell running old games on XP with an absolutely awesome background. Well, my battery light is flashing, so I'm going to have to end the video here. If I have enough time, let's do a quick, very quick, boot up of the Dell C610 that I never ever feature in any of my videos. But it's running the original 20 gig Hitachi drive, and it also has a half a gig of RAM. So let's see how it fares. This is the 1.2 Pentium 3. I used to use this thing for the study at home research program where it used your computer to process data. It was only 1.2 Pentium 3, so you can imagine it didn't do very much very fast, but the good thing about it is it could run for months. I used to leave this thing on all the day, like all the time while I was at college. It just sat in the room and used it as a heater, and it ran there, or it sat there and processed data for like months and months and months. Never died, never gave any issues, but still works. Needs a DVD-ROM drive and a new screen because of that down there. It looks to be a small crack or something that's starting, and the hinges aren't what I'd call exactly tight. They're a little but that's that Pentium 3 booting up Windows XP. I'm going to end the video here before my camera battery says goodbye.